Oh, guys, I don't know.
Birds, are you okay?
I'm not, I'm not great. I came back from Hawaii and I think I
Oh
brought
no.
something terrible back with me. I've
Don't
got some
tell
kind
me.
of
Are you like
some
The-
light plague.
patient zero for something? Like, it sounds pretty bad. Like,
From Hawaii?
Yeah, it's the pineapple flu.
Oh my
It's come
God.
come to wreak havoc, guys. I'm so sorry.
This is not good. I recently started playing Pandemic the board game, so I know that if you're bringing stuff from overseas, this could now go from Los Angeles up to Seattle, straight over to Washington, D.C. within a week.
oh no.
Yeah, no, there's 3 red cubes in Los Angeles right now, guys. Someone bring a medic.
I've got 2 scars on my character as it is. Birds, are you going to be able to
All
make
right.
it through an hour-long podcast?
Let's find out. Let's do it.
Okay, let's get this done, and then afterwards we're taking you to a quarantine, and we'll leave you there to protect all of humankind.
Okay, it's a giant pineapple.
Under the sea.
Hello, Swain and Birds. Listeners, guys, Birds actually is really sick, but he's sticking it out to do this show for y'all.
Oh man,
We could
Oh,
have
no.
easily let him off the hook and said, like, hey, me and Bones will do it, but we're mean.
No,
Said no,
no,
rain or shine.
no. We've got a chemistry to preserve.
We are not missing a week in 2017.
It was just the last day, the week leading up to it. It was very nice in Hawaii. I went to the beach, slept in, drank a lot of coffee, saw some friends, ate plate lunch, brah. It was I can do better. I can do better pigeon than that, but not when I'm sick. No, it was great. It was refreshing, but now I feel like just hot, sweaty, shivering garbage.
Once again, we're on Sweaty Birds.
Sweaty Birds.
Sweaty Birds.
Welcome to Crucible Radio. I almost forgot the name of the show there for a second. There. Crucible Radio is over all things Destiny PvP. Thank you for joining us. Guys, what did I miss? What's been going on?
Iron Banner was this week.
Yes.
How was it?
It was Iron Banner.
Yep.
There's not
Sure
a better way to
was.
say it. Iron Banner Clash. I had, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch, and I came back to play some Iron
You
Banner this week.
Son of a bitch.
How dare you? But I came back and do some Iron Banner, and I was rusty, very, very rusty, and I was just like, ugh, my shots were terrible, and I was just doing terribly, and Clash isn't my game mode. So we played a bunch of Iron Banner, and then I went and played some Rumble to feel better about myself.
That's it.
There you go. Besides that, there was at least a little bit of information in the We Get Bungie blog, but Deej did reference a few things about the future. If you didn't read that, Birds, so there's actually no Crimson Days. Will not be
RIP.
making a return this year.
Pour one out for Crimson Days, guys.
Yeah,
Doubles.
I liked the game mode itself for the little bit of fun it was. Maybe they'll mess around with that mechanic and other things in the future. I think it's kind of cool, that whole Juggernaut vibe.
Yeah.
I wish it was like a custom game mode. That would be sick if they threw it into private matches and have maybe one, Last Guardian Standing could have that. That'd be cool. But with the Dawning, being, I think, pretty much agreed that it was probably the best live event up to date, that Crimson Days of last year in comparison does not seem as special. So I think they've got a different one planned, and they said we'll be finding out how we're going to spend our spring in Destiny very soon. So if the Dawning has any indication, I think we could have some cool stuff coming forward, and we'll be keeping our eyes open for that stuff.
I kind of caught the vibe that it wasn't going to come back when they added all of the ghost shells into the regular Crucible drops. I was like,
Right.
that's weird. Why would they just put those in? Like, shouldn't we just be getting them when Crimson Days rolls back around? But yeah, kind of like a
Nice little foreshadowing.
a little bit of foreshadowing. Let us know that it's not going to come back. But all things are on the table. One of the things we did get from that TWAB was kind of a hint at what will definitely come soon is some patch notes, some changes to the to the Crucible. So those are always a good thing. Especially for this show, lots of content in patch notes. We could just sit here and read them for like a whole episode. Works great.
It's fun.
Patch notes episode.
Very satisfying.
Like, here we go. We're going to read this word for word for you for the next hour.
Oh, we do better than that. Guys, I've been thinking about this thing, and I don't know if this is going to come off as coherent at all, but I've been thinking about what it means to pull the trigger. Last week, I think we fielded a question about executing flanks and how you have to be decisive. I had kind of a strange moment. There was this house we were staying at. Thank you, in-laws' parents, for hooking it up. Had a cold water pool in the yard, and it was always like a shock. You just have to jump in. You can't adjust to it, but once you get in there, you're fine. And I just like stood at the edge of this pool for like 2 minutes, just sort of getting mentally prepared, but also knowing you can't really get prepared for just the shock it's going to be. And I've been thinking a lot about what it means to sort of be decisive when you know you're not ready, but you're as ready as you're gonna be. And then once you commit, you can't second guess yourself at all. It's okay to wait for as long as it takes for it to be the right time, but then you have to go. I've also been I've been thinking about this, and this is from a book. I can't remember which. But if you ever watch like a cat jump from one thing to another, just watch them. Like, they kind of crouch and they wait, and then when the jump happens, it just happens. It's not, there's no second guessing in there. It doesn't even really seem like they're present for it. They land there like they knew that they were always going to land there all along.
You haven't met my cat.
Oh.
Well, you actually
Or
have
mine.
one.
Dane, do you want-
Yeah, you met Tim
I
in
have.
the bathroom. He was
He was being petted down with water from the sink because he's weird, and he had a weird friend who was into it.
He also falls on the ground like a bag of rocks. So not the best cat for this.
My cat runs into
Analogy.
doors.
Not the best example. Anyways, I don't know. This is not an idea yet. This is not my tight 5 for the Comedy Store. I gotta keep workshopping this.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got a ghost shell. I got one of those Crimson Doubles ghost shells, and it's like my highest statted ghost shell to date. It's like 104% or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, or I don't know if that's what it is, but I had 100% one or 101, and it was just significantly better than that on both stats.
Huh.
Nice.
I actually did reach tier 12 for the first time.
Oh, congratulations.
But it was like a month ago or a little while ago. And it was on my hunter, and I could do it with legendary gear, and it was like a pretty good like sweat setup. And it was great. And I was just like, but I realized I had like had all those pieces for like a very long time and just hadn't done the like loadout creator in Destiny Item Manager. So I felt kind of dumb, and it was a little anticlimactic to be like, oh, that gear's been like sitting there for so long. But
Me and I could do this all along.
yeah,
Damn it.
was pretty cool to have, and I kind of enjoy playing pubs with just that gear and no exotics on my hunter sometimes, and trying to see if I can make it work. I think it works. It's decent for Night Stalker, but it's really for a Blade Dancer build, and I like sweats with Blade Dancer for the knee pads and shotgun and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not bad. I feel like I spent so long refreshing Destiny Item Manager every freaking armor piece I ever get, only to hit it and kind of forget that I did or not even realize it. But gotta have something to play
You
for.
got good perks on it?
Yeah, shotgun gear, hand cannon reload, grenade distance, and it works with the
Beautiful.
raid legs. And I think that those perks is like extra agility after a melee kill. or something along those lines. So it's kind of one of those weird PvE perks that occasionally translates to PvP, which is not bad because I don't like Second Wind very much.
Yeah.
I feel like it, gives me the sense of good handling and then goes away before it's relevant. You don't need Last Hope in sweats too often. So it's kind of nice to have a weird perk that helps.
So
All right.
I want to get your feelings on this, Bones, and even you, Birds, because
All right.
it's something that really dawned on me with this last week of playing Overwatch. I was playing Overwatch all weekend.
Why you little?
Fine line here.
But no. So something that I've been able to find with Destiny was that, I like different playlists. I like doing different things in the game and specializing my loadout and having all of these options at my fingertips. And the one thing I was curious about was, what do you guys think of? This is probably a Destiny 2 thing, and I said it on Twitter, but ranked playlists in Destiny. How do you think that works? Like, I can't kind of wrap my head around it, like transferring over to Destiny, because like one thing that's really grabbed me right now is like watching my rank grow, and it kind of feels like a visualization of getting better at something.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's a question there, but what do you guys think
I think
of it?
there's like two elements it could involve, and I've been playing Overwatch as well. When I take a break from Destiny, sometimes everyone does it. It's okay, even if I'm giving Swain a hard time. But
Someone in like the dark alleyway is trying to deal me Overwatch.
Hey, kid. First one's
Hey
free.
kid, this one's free. They do free weekends.
Yeah.
That's how they got us.
That's how they get you
hooked.
But Overwatch has a competitive season. It's displaying your elo right there in front of you. It's the numbers are not necessarily the same as Destiny, but you're 2,500. You know exactly sort of where you stand on the scale. Just like if you're a Trials player, you might know how you are if you're 1,800. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Competitive season is probably only doable in Overwatch because it is like built for esports. So that's when you say, well, does that work in Destiny? I don't know.
Yeah.
Separate playlist to separate. Here's where like you're going to be ranked against people. The SBMM would be cranked up really hard. That could work. It could also maybe be tough because I think Destiny might get played more. It's a more of a solo game. It's about your performance rather than the team element.
I was gonna say, like, I would probably only spend my time playing Rumble competitive. If it goes playlist by playlist, I would probably just exclusively spend time in Rumble and just rank up there because that's the playlist I like.
I certainly don't think it's impossible. What makes me think would be the easiest would be something maybe a little more along the lines of Halo and in some cases other first-person shooters, but just sort of like a progress bar.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you different emblems. In Halo, you got to unlock different armor parts.
Shaders would be cool.
Right, like a shader for someone who has made it up to this level would be something. That is more of like a grind incentive, not so much a get better incentive. But I think it still could work in Destiny.
Yeah.
The thing that I think about is, sort of looking back on our conversations with Noosk, one thing that they really don't want to do is break immersion. So the story of Destiny is that you are the Guardian, you are humanity's last hope, and you're Oryx Slayer. And when just like thinking about hearing him talk about showing weapon stats on a card, more and more we have kind of had things like the progress books that kind of expose more of a video game side. But just looking at Destiny, right? Like you can't just cycle through all of your gear. You have to go to the tower and go to the vault or use Destiny Item Manager to like come in and just say like, hey, this is a season, we're playing sports now. It's not about saving the last of humanity. It's it's like we're all playing towards the Super Bowl. I could see that being a challenge, trying to get that to fit in. Bonesy, I think you make a good point too, which is that with a ranked playlist, the name of the game is skill-based matchmaking. The whole idea is that you're being put up against teams that are really going to challenge you, and you have to earn your way there. Maybe when that's a little more sort of transparent, or you can opt into that by going into that playlist, people would be better with it. But I see that being a roadblock.
I do think, though, it's a very good avenue for someone like Nusk and the weapon designers and everything to kind of just tool something towards that competitive side, because since I only have one thing to compare it to, in Overwatch, everything's kind of similar, and they're able to tweak it slightly so different metas emerge. And I know that they've wanted to do this in the past. Even Noose came on and said like, hey, I love, when a meta changes, like people shift to something else, and all of a sudden you see certain things and certain loadouts. And I think that would be kind of cool to see in Destiny, if something kind of just like everybody knows that this competitive season, this loadout or this like setup is the meta. And like you don't have to use it necessarily, but that's what's strong this time around. And we know that maybe as things go along, maybe the next competitive season, the meta will change.
Yeah.
And I think that would give a very good platform for them to kind of like flex their muscles and show you like, hey, this is, we can do this right. We can do the competitive side right.
Yeah. It's such it's a tough thing easy to visualize and tough to see if it would really play out. I think one thing strange about Destiny is that there's so many playlists, and I don't want to get too deep into this conversation. It's not really
so
what
many
we
playlists. There's so many guns. There's so many armor things.
Yeah.
There's so many different artifacts and subclass nodes.
If I could make one suggestion, and if you listen to Planet Destiny, you might have heard me mention it there, and I'll keep this short as sort of the conclusion of this topic. If there were less playlists and, there wasn't like 14 nodes of the Crucible to choose from, splitting up the PvP population amongst all of that, and then you took that, like simplified that, and then you took, here's ranked, or here's skill-based matchmaking, or here's a competitive season, whatever you want to call it. Here's hardcore try-hard mode, and then here is have fun and do whatever in Clash. I think that could, one, give a little more specific signs of what the best players are using for the developers. It'd also give a lot of people who don't want to die to the same thing over and over again and insist on using not the meta, a real good excuse to go into quick play, if you will, and use whatever they want. And then in there, that anything can happen, and that's your choice, as opposed to right now where it's like, I don't know where to go in the Crucible if I want to goof around, or do I have to go into the Crucible and play serious? We've obviously said our opinions on how you should go into the Crucible if you want to get better, but I understand why that can not be everyone's motivation every single time they turn on Destiny PvP. And Destiny PvP is really satisfying and really, really fun to play, and that's why we do a show about it. And so it'd be cool if it would encourage more people to play it. Anyways,
you're here.
Who knows, guys? Destiny 2. Oh man. E3? When's E3? 4 months? 5 months?
Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to put myself in a coma and wake up on June 13th and see if there's a trailer.
No, boy.
Yep. But we'll see. Okay. So today we teased it a little bit last week. And what we wanted to do this week is talk about the streamers we like to watch. Streamers that inspire us to get better, as well as entertain us.
That Swain Stash is such a good streamer.
Twitch.tv/SwainStash.
All the time. He's so cool.
That's it. That's the only one we recommend. This episode is just a plug for your stream. Okay, yeah. So we wanted to discuss who we like to watch. Who there's a lot of players that are very good, and even if the meta is stale, there's a lot of people who play differently. And I think that's one of the coolest things about watching top tier players is how people do it differently, or how teams communicate and things like that. And then there's even a few people I wanted to mention who don't even play Destiny, but you can still learn really awesome things about being on a team and playing a shooter. But we'll get to that at the end. So should we just chat a little bit? We want to just name drop?
I mean, like, yeah, I think we should say it up top is that, like, you really have to take each person that you watch for different reasons. Like, some people are around for entertainment purposes. Some people are around for literally just doing carries and doing all of that. But they may not say it, but you can analyze the way they play a little bit better if you know what you're getting into. So
yeah. And I think if I could give one disclaimer, it's that I don't get to spend a lot of time on Twitch. I try to as much as possible. But if there's someone you're just like, you guys, you dummies, how do you not mention this person? It's not like a purposeful exclusion or I'm saying like, this is the only person you should pay attention to. It's just that like, this is what I do on my limited time watching Twitch. So these are just some suggestions to mix up your viewing experience. Okay, who's first?
Birds, you want to go first? Get your talking out the way.
Yeah, before you pass out.
Yeah. Let's. Well, I will give a recommendation for someone you can watch now, but I have to take it all the way back to the beginning when I first decided to take the plunge into
wait.
learning.
We gotta do go back in time music.
Scooby-Doo ending.
Hi guys.
We went too far. Went way too far.
No, that's what I sounded like in April 2014.
Right before we met you.
Yep, true fact. I picked up Destiny on a lark. It had a great PvE campaign. I had a blast playing it. I had never really played a competitive shooter on a console, at least, play Counter-Strike back in high school, whatever. And I was really intimidated by it. My first time going into a Crucible match was not pretty. I felt like I was just lost and running around, running into walls, just getting shotgunned. I actually, and this is, I guess I'm not embarrassed, this is kind of funny. I actually waited for an Iron Banner week to roll around and then didn't play Iron Banner, played the regular playlist with the thinking that all the real good players would be grinding away in Banner and I could have some safety and control.
There's something to be said about joining in to Destiny at the very beginning and like being like, oh, people love first person shooters. Let me figure this out. How does PvP work? You go in and like there's like the Vex Mythoclast. Like that's never like have you ever seen another game that's like that where like there's this full auto fusion bolt thingy shooting at you and making this like
melting people
crazy noise. Yeah, it was a very weird time.
So I needed some help. I just didn't even know which way to turn, which way to look. And on a lark, I pulled up the Twitch directory and just clicked one of the names on top, saw someone who was in the Crucible. And I came across a streamer, and you'll see this in a lot of the people I mention, a real weirdo by the name of She's My Nerd. This guy is kind of a difficult guy, not very friendly, not a real charming personality, but a very methodical, very cold-blooded player. And I learned so much so quickly. I learned Radiant Skin is the ish, and you just keep throwing those fire bolts. I learned that the last word is a good gun, and you should use it. And I also just got a sense, I think one of my very first trial streamers I watched was She's My Nerd play, and watched him and his team just be relentlessly aggressive, knowing that if you just chase everybody down, and this is in the beginning of Trials 2 where people, didn't have that pro movement. Yeah, there's a lot of sitting ducks there, that you just have to push And that also, Rumble is a lot of fun. I don't think She's My Nerd is streaming anymore, streaming Destiny at least, and not necessarily someone I would recommend as my favorite person to watch. And God, it's getting ready for the third person on my list who's just the fucking worst, but I love him.
I'm pretty sure She's My Nerd is like still thousands of games of Rumble ahead of everyone else.
This is it. Rumble champion for sure. Yeah, so I guess that's the first person on my list. Someone who shows that this thing that I was just like overwhelming and confusing and scary to me could be broken down and played in a very systematic way and just turned consistently into win after win. So yeah, She's My Nerd. That's my first. It was my first.
We could do a little bit of a round here if we want to go to Bones next.
Bonesy.
Okay, so one person who impresses me a lot with their gameplay and that I wish I could have more time to watch them play is Mr. Anbu from Bomb Squad Kittens. And I have stopped in there a few times, and in the minimal times, I just feel like I'm watching it and I'm just like, man, I should emulate that. And no matter what he's touching, if he's in, Clash messing around with a long distance relationship, trying to snipe, even though he's that awesome warrior when it comes to tournaments and stuff like that. And, he's known for let's fucking go and all that stuff. And that's the most hype shit for tournaments. But when he's just streaming and playing Destiny, he's like incredibly casual and still like pulling off just massive, massive plays. And I get hype, I get energized, I get tilty or whatever. But like beyond that, beyond like my intensity playing, like I get very physically tense when I'm trying to win. And like, I'm gripping the controller really hard. I've never broken a scuff or anything like that. But if you look at my thumbsticks, like my thumbsticks getting worn down and things like that. And I really want to win. I like to win. I hate losing. But I also know that somewhere out there is a state of being where I can pull off the good plays that I'm capable of doing without stressing or without being like, like clenching my teeth. And Anbu can do that where he's got the gun skill, but he's doing it in a relaxed way. And, it's really nice to see someone do that and say, okay, so it's not that I need to be more intense and dedicated and committed and try hard to make those plays happen. It's actually the opposite. I need to relax more and get in that flow state. And getting in flow state is something we've talked about with Sports Like Steve months ago, which we should, maybe bring that up. But flow state is like you feel good, you're good, you're playing well, and you're just existing there on that level, and you're not losing it, and everything's going great, and you're not overly stressed or you're not overly intense. And Anbu is a great representation of how to find flow state, even if he's getting real hype at the end of the game. So, and plus, like watching competitive Destiny is so fun. Even if Trials is a great time on the weekends, watch Sweats during the week. That's what I like to see.
All right, that's Anbu. Go check him out. Swain, who do you got?
Well, mine's going to kind of take a bit of a theme here, but there's definitely three players I like. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Ninja with no L, former guest of the podcast, also a fellow Titan. And I played with Ninja a bunch. And I genuinely enjoy hanging out in his chats and like seeing him do his thing, because he does this like he doesn't he used to do it very often, but every once in a while you can catch him doing it where he narrates himself playing. He'll just be solo queuing through, whatever it is. It could be Iron Banner, it could be whatever the daily is, control, but he'll narrate where everything and anything is happening while it's happening. So he'll call out spawns, he'll kill someone, be like, all right, I'm going to stay here for a second and then I'll move. And he kind of just like, he knows everything that's going on at once. And he can just call it out. It's impressive. And I try to take that away with my gameplay from from that point on. There's kind of like, even if like I'm not even streaming, just kind of narrate to myself like what I'm thinking. Say it out loud. Be like, all right, I killed 2 people here. Where on the map could they be? Let me rotate in that direction. What's the spawn timer for this play mode? Maybe I should wait a second way back here and then make my move. So listening to Ninja like kind of narrate himself playing, it has helped me a whole bunch. The other great thing about Ninja, and this is for all the Titans out there, is that I think he's legitimately one of the fastest Titan skaters in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, how much A. Gabriel plays anymore, but Ninja is fast, like ridiculously fast, and he can get it going really quickly from like a standing start. So if you want to learn how to Titan skate better than you already do, you want to learn how to incorporate Twilight Garrison into that, how to incorporate different guns into that setup, whether it's like, he also likes to use like a very high rate of fire sniper rifle every once in a while, and that's always fun to watch. But go into his chat, he'll be more than happy to tell you exactly how he does it.
You mentioned the Twilight Garrison, and I feel like there's a stereotype about like try-hard Titans putting on the Twilight to try to skate faster. It's like, yeah, it can give you that initial boost of speed to start your skate, but watching Ninja do it in the middle of encounters and gunfights, like he might be rolling Universal Remote and Glass Promontory, a low-impact sniper and the primary shotgun that did get nerfed. But the reason that build is successful is because he's moving everywhere. He's not just skating fast in one line to get to the spot. He is jumping and dodging and flying sideways and throwing people off. And so he's an incredibly hard target to hit. And then somehow in the middle of that, he'll Twilight Garrison to the right and land on a ledge that you've never stood on before.
I was just about to say
and
that.
Land a shot.
He
it's
knows
like crazy.
Some spots on some maps that you would never even imagine to go to. Like, and every single time I've watched him get to a spot, I'm like, oh, put that in the back of my head whenever I'm on that map. You can almost always guarantee a kill from it because no one knows where these things are. And I think I seen him like on Twilight Gap, jump outside of the map, land on something, and then jump back around to land behind someone. Just kind of like outside, out of bounds, like so far like off the map, but was able to like Titan skate himself back into the map. Amazing.
Yeah, that aspect of, we call it narrating, is just so impressive. Like Ninja's like a natural teacher. There's no question about that. And you can learn so much from listening. But I think even if you're not necessarily narrating for an audience, but just for yourself to sort of stay in the moment, sort of remain intellectual without getting, too far removed from actually playing, there's no way to do that aside from just practicing it. So if you want to see what it looks like done right, go check him out. Just a great.
So before we mention a few more people, we have a little note from our sponsor this week, HelloFresh. Now, if you don't know what HelloFresh is, it's a meal kit delivery service, and it makes cooking easy, fun, and very convenient. Basically, you get a box, and it's full of ingredients, everything you need, the exact amount.
Mise en place.
Yes, mise en place. And take it from Swain. That's important. HelloFresh delivers a box once a week. You've got a few meals in there, and you realize that, oh, you do know how to cook. You're not an idiot like I thought I was. And they are awesome. They're healthy. Fresh ingredients and balanced nutrition and all that. So if you're looking to get healthy, or if you're trying like, man, I don't know how to grocery shop, HelloFresh will help you out with that and make all of your worries go away.
I try and make, like I'll print a recipe off the internet and this thing is like 2 pages and I'm trying to get all the ingredients together. It could not be easier. They give you everything you need. It's in the exact quantity you need. So you don't have any waste. You don't have half a container of Greek yogurt sitting in your fridge until you throw it out 2 weeks later. And the recipes are so simple. You can make some incredible meals, but it's all very straightforward. Everything fits on one page. There's beautiful illustrations. It really takes the hard part out of cooking healthy food at home for you and your family.
Have you ever tried to cook off of a recipe on your phone, but your phone screen keeps going to black and you have to like press it again, but your hands are covered in food?
Yeah,
all
just
the time.
covered in gross little smudges.
So basically, there's like a full-time dietitian on staff that is making sure that these recipes are nutritionally balanced. So with HelloFresh, you are consistently getting healthy meals rotated into your life. And honestly, it has helped me, figure out what I need to be buying when I do need to buy food for myself. But I don't want to. I want it out of a box.
I mean, we're all trying to get healthy in 2017. HelloFresh is a great way to do it with delicious, delicious food. Like, seriously, I was amazed at just the tastiness of the food I produced. It's all delivered to your doorstep in a special insulated box, free shipping, and HelloFresh is hooking it up for listeners of Crucible Radio. You can get $35 off your first week of deliveries. Just go to HelloFresh.com and enter Crucible35 when you subscribe.
CRUCIBLE35. Check it out.
HelloFresh. All right, let's talk about some more streamers. I'm debating who I should talk about next. I could talk about legitimately just like one of my favorite people who has done so much to make me a better Destiny player, or I could talk about one of my least favorite people who I love in spite of hating them. That kind of sounds fun. He doesn't really play Destiny anymore. He's mostly focused on Titanfall 2, which is my guilty pleasure. But he was a very strong Destiny player at the time, and definitely another one of those very solid skating titans. I, against my will, have to give it up for the man, the boy, the awful little child known as Game Sager. I'm so sorry I'm talking shit about you, but you're just the worst. He's just like, he's so unlikable. He's so like rude to his teammates. He's so rude to his opposition. He's just like so cocky and so arrogant. But god damn, can this guy play? Oh my God, just I've never seen anyone who moves so confidently and who has such good aim. And I've learned a lot of lessons that I think translate to any shooters. But one that Game Sager really put on the table for sure is that he puts up these matches where he gets a ton of kills and 0 deaths. And that seems kind of antithetical because I can play a high KD play style, but I'm going to put up like 15 kills maybe because I'm just focusing on keeping distance, creating negative space, staying in cover. I'm not trying to be super aggressive. And Game Sager taught me a different way to shoot for that same goal, which is you got to be fast. You have to flank. So as soon as you get to an engagement, if it's not going your way, you bounce. Don't chase the kill. Don't settle for a trade. Instead, pack it up, flank around the side, approach from the other side, try and shoot someone in the back and pick up a couple easy kills, and then do it again. And that kind of play style it takes phenomenal aim. It takes great movement skills. But it also requires a certain degree of humbleness, which is odd considering how arrogant this guy is, because you have to be willing to give up on a kill. You have to say, I'm going to get out of here. Not worth it. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try and warrior it out and pull off the montage clip. I'm going to go for the known quantities. And I actually realized that when I'm at my best in Destiny, it's kind of how I play pool, like billiards, which is that I've played against some great billiards player. Look, I'm nothing special. And they are making crazy shots. They're putting English on it. They're pulling stuff off of bumpers and bending them around other balls. I don't even try for any of that stuff. Instead, I like a bottom feeder style play where I just get the stuff I know I should be able to get. If there's a half table shot that's lined up with a corner pocket, I'm just going to land that shot. I'm not going to go for anything fancy. If I'm really feeling extravagant, I'm going to try and leave the cue ball in a good spot. But it turns out that if you just are really solid at the basics, the stuff you ought to be able to do, you get a bit of a pass from trying to, charge into a room with 6 people and with your shotgun out and try and get that buckshot bruiser. I understand I'm mixing my metaphors a bit here. Anyways, yeah, it is with grudging respect that I say I got a lot of respect for Game Sager. I don't think we would ever be friends in real life, but I certainly love watching him play, and I've learned a lot. And I know he doesn't listen to this, too. So fuck you, buddy. All right, Swain. Who do you like? Give me someone you actually like, unlike me.
So, continuing my theme, I am going to go with another former guest of the show, Ramblin', with a lot of N's. There's like
N.
8 N's at the end of Ramblin'. No, Ramblin' is amazing. You may know him from such videos as running away for 5 consecutive rounds of trials to go on, unbroken and go flawless by himself, essentially. So, but I love watching Ramblin' simply because he is one of the calmest, most level-headed players I've ever watched. He just kind of like has this very monotone voice the whole time. He kind of just like quickly responds to chat, goes about talking about what he's doing. Someone kind of throws some nonsense into the chat. He shuts it down quick by just like completely like smothering it with like how calm he is. And he's just an amazing player. He makes amazing snipes. He is so well versed in the maps of Destiny and being able to get around quick and just escaping bad situations. So I use Ramblin' simply because he keeps me calm, and he teaches me things about maps that I just don't know, like the best way to run away, which is something I'm honestly trying to work on lately, is when to run away. When do I just give up on this gunfight and go look for a better advantage, and even possibly incorporating like baiting someone into a hallway or baiting someone around a corner, which Ramblin' has to do if he's going to do a 1v3 in trials. So Ramblin', go check him out. He will keep you calm, and he will teach you some awesome things about sniping.
Yeah, one of the things I love about watching Ramblin' is that calmness is not a part-time thing. Like, it's easy to keep a level head or stay jaded when you're, just queuing into pubs and, Six's playlist or something. The thing I like about Ramblin' is that he goes for stuff that should be impossible, just like Last Guardian Standing, a whole ticket, and takes that same attitude into it. It doesn't seem like when I'm in a high pressure situation, I definitely change the way I play. I mean, Bonesy, you kind of talked about this. My body tenses up. I hold the controller a bit tighter. I'm not loose. I definitely get a bit more twitchy. And to know that you can play the exact same way when you're just casually queuing into pubs or whether you're attempting the impossible, I think is really, it's really admirable. And you can learn a lot from that style.
Truly one of the best. So check him out. Birds, I know you got another streamer you like watching. Hopefully it's someone that you don't hate.
Yeah, no, there's very few people that I just genuinely love. And this guy is one of them. And hey, look, this is not particularly a novel insight. This is one of our all-time favorite guests on the show. His episodes are some of the most downloaded episodes. I got to give it up for the marsupial Keen Koala. I remember he was telling me about this back before he ever put it together, and I thought like, that's cool, but there's no way you'll ever pull it off. He was telling me, I want to do a show on Twitch, not just streaming, but a show where I come in and I review gameplay, I break down maps and talk about sniping lanes, talk about map movement, going to 50-50s, working spawns, really ruthlessly critique people's gameplay and critique my own gameplay, and teach people the basic skills of what you ought to be able to do in Destiny, whether you're rocking a shotgun or a sniper or a fusion or anything in between. And he called his show Crucible Boot Camp, and then he actually pulled it off. I can't believe it. There's nothing else like it. I've definitely had, for me, I enjoy watching some streamers casually. There's definitely people where I'll go check out their YouTube for, like highlight matches or whatever.
but Keen is, and I'm sorry to Keen just be buttering your bread so thoroughly on this. I've talked about it on the show before. Keen has changed. Like, I've had epiphanies watching his show. I've talked about it before, but in particular, just watching him move around Burning Shrine in a solo rumble and just calculating the angles at every position that he's at, showing where he can shoot from, where he's exposed from, how to push into cover, push into cover, push into cover. That just cracked my head open. Just made me realize that there's a whole other way of playing shooters that I didn't even know existed. It wasn't just run around and point your gun at people that you see. So I don't know what else there's to say. Guys, next level. CrucibleBootcamp.com. Mr. King Koala. Check it out. All right, Bonesy. You've been sitting there quietly for a minute. I know you got some people on your list. Who do you want to talk about?
I don't watch a ton of Twitch, but I do like to mix it up and watch other games, even when I'm playing Destiny at that moment, because I think there are always things you can learn from other shooters and from other team games. So maybe you want to switch it up. Maybe you know your favorites. You already know who we've talked about, and you're like, give me something new to watch. Maybe you don't know a few of these players. So there's this guy called Frothy Omen. He streams Titanfall 2. He got partnered through Titanfall 2, which is hard to do because that game was rather small compared to some of the big ones. But Bird's already mentioned, we all played a little bit. It's very fun. It's more of a fast Twitch shooter, but positioning is everything in that game. And Frothy Omen is great at analyzing the positioning, knowing every in and out of every game. He's like the Fallout plays of Titanfall. It can tell you how many bullets, how many frames it takes to kill with the alternator versus the carbine, things like that. And he has so much fun while he does it. So it's just a really informative thing to watch. But on a game that's real fast and you can kill people real quick, you got to be in the right place at the right time. So I really feel like Frothy really helps me think about how I'm watching the action happen in front of me, how people are moving around, who I want to try to bait into a room because I know where they spawned, that kind of thing. So that's really awesome. Another guy, he's kind of recently popping up on the subreddits and things like that. His name is CarQ, Karq.
Oh yeah,
and
CarQ.
He actually streams on YouTube, which is
that's a different
valid
episode.
thing.
It's a thing.
Different
It
episode,
exists.
yeah. But he streams Overwatch, and he has a very, very awesome YouTube channel. He is an upbeat guy. He has a lot of fun. He puts things in very...
It kind of sounds like Fallout.
I just look for like versions of Fallout in other games, clearly. No, but he breaks it down in really, really awesome ways where it's like you're watching his gameplay and he is in Masters or whatever on Overwatch, but he's explaining it on a way that like a dummy like me can figure it out. And it's something that I can apply to my game. And I think that's so helpful for people who want to teach. And obviously everyone has that sort of instinct to put it in terms that you understand, but he's just giving you the basics of what you need. And again, it's more about positioning and team, way to help your team in Overwatch. So it's really good to know, I could use that communication skill he just talked about and drop that into Destiny in trials where communication is huge. I can use that as well. The last person I think you should watch, and I've mentioned this very quickly on the show before, this guy by the name of Snipe Down with a 3 for the E. And he's a Halo pro. So if you came from Halo, you probably know who I'm talking about. Halo 5 is still active. There's a tournament going on right now while we record this. Snipe Down plays on a competitive level. He's got a 25-minute montage on YouTube. Like just turn Snipe Down montage, and it's 5 minutes from every like iteration of Halo, and it takes mostly tournament plays. So it's like it's not just me playing Clash and trying to get the quad kill. It's literally like, oh, he's doing that to the best players out there. It's fantastic. But I've mentioned this before. Competitive Halo does call outs like you never hear someone in Destiny do. There are people who are very good at it. There's people who are very awesome at vocalizing what they need to do. Obviously, watching Sweats, you're getting great call out information. But they are like, there is no quiet comms. There is no one has a chance to take a breath because you need to feed information. It could be purely location-based call out, like, hey, he's under pipe or he's on C or blah, blah, blah. It could be, hey, now it's time for us to take B when they play control stuff, but it's constant. So tune into a Halo Pro and Snipe Down specifically because he's got the flair for it and learn how you can actually be giving a lot more information. If you thought your call outs were okay, watch that and realize you can give better ones. Otherwise, go back to Destiny. There's too many great streamers to mention.
All right. Well, with that, Swain, take us home.
I got the best Destiny streamer for last. Still keeping with my theme here. It is the last part of the Trials train, and that's Dr. Lupo. Bones, you mentioned callouts a second ago, and Dr. Lupo might be one of the best at it. Also seen in such videos as Ramblin' running away from a 3v1 and just getting this ridiculous last word kill when last word was on its way out for a second there. And Lupo can just basically if you closed your eyes, he could illustrate the map for you, like paint you a word picture of where everything is on the map and where all the enemies are on the map. And it doesn't mean he's dead all the time. It just means that he is so well informed and is able to so precisely and so in as few words as possible tell you exactly what's going on. And that's something that every single player needs to incorporate into their gameplay yesterday. Like being able to say what's going on, say what you think is happening, say what you see, say what you don't see, and let your teammates know is just, that's just a talent that I wish every single person had. And he's also ridiculous at sniping. He does play Hunter pretty often, so he's shade stepping all the time, and he is rocking the graviton so that he can have that he can see where the heads are moving once he gets like a tag on someone. But that just adds to the predictability. He can just perfectly put the sniper rifle on someone's head as soon as they poke out. And just to get a feel for call outs, get a feel for butts, get a feel for touching them.
Inside jokes.
Hey, it's not so much inside anymore. It's a very outside butt joke. But yeah, check out Dr. Lupo if you haven't already. Are you on under a rock or something?
Where are you?
You in a place with no internet? That might be a problem. You need to fix your internet first.
Well, folks, that's our episode this week. To wrap this up, these people that we've mentioned have been on our show. Some of them haven't, and they need to be on the show, and we're working on it. Obviously, you know who we like, but the main takeaway here is that the Destiny Twitch and YouTube directory is amazing. I mean, there are games that are brand new and popular. There are games that are esports and they're playing tournaments for $1 million. But Destiny is always right there at the top because of a lot of hardworking streamers that give you a lot of different ways to watch. You can watch people like Slayerage take on raids by himself, or you can watch tons of people in the Crucible to get better. And if they've been on their show, on this show, you need to go watch them. If they're on the directory, go give them your support. I mean, there's so many people we couldn't even list. Triple Wreck, Grenader Jake, Slayerage, like I said, Ignite, Fun Police. I mean, there's like so many people. Everyone in Inclement, Bomb Squad Kittens, and and Primal. Like they're all so freaking good at this game. And like I said at the beginning, you can get so many different approaches to the meta that everyone's playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if you don't like how mean someone is, just mute it and watch the gameplay.
Oh, just watch, man. Yeah, just watch. She snaps. You can watch Miss 5000 Watts use what's the Dreg's Promise in Trials, and it's like she'll play with Holtzman and he's using the other exotic sidearm, and it's just like there's always people doing something different. And people using the icebreaker, and I need to pull that out. I think I want to pull that out for some trials this weekend.
All right, Bones. Well, you get on the phone real quick and let the CDC know that Birds needs to be quarantined.
Oh,
and
you guys.
I'll lead us out here.
Thank you.
if we don't get over to LA in 3 turns from now and get rid of some of those things, we're going to have an outbreak and there's going to be pineapples everywhere. Birds, I'm actually impressed. You really made this through and put on your radio voice. And it doesn't sound like you're deathly ill.
If you could see me right now,
I don't want to.
Gross. Or a gross person right now. You'd be right.
Gross. Well, as always, you could find us at crucibleradio.com. Follow us everywhere at Crucible Radio. Check us out on the YouTubes. We got some rumblings there. If you like us, follow us on YouTube, Crucible Radio. And,
hey, you guys ready for February 4th?
It's coming.
Yeah.
Kel's Angel Classic. Oh, I just saw the new art that Dan put together. Like just the full on drive vibe.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's crucibleradio.com/SRL. We're going to be opening up registration this week. You get to compete in the first ever Crucible Radio tournament. We're going to be doing some sparrow racing. So,
and you get there are some pretty big rewards up there.
Yeah,
you
man.
can get cash rewards. You can get the reward of beating Deej and other famous streamers, even some that we've mentioned on this episode. And you can say like, yeah, trails carries, huh? You just got smoked on the track.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone.